Chapter 10 of Wilderness, a Journal of Quiet Adventure in Alaska, by Rockwell Kent. Recording is in the public domain. Chapter 10 Olson. He returned last night, the 11th of February, in a blaze of glory. Ah, the wonder of it, and of all he brought! Rockwell and I sat at our cards just before supper time. The day, a calm one, a fair one, had passed, and Olson again had not come. We were downcast. Every possible cause for his continued absence had been reviewed in my mind. To wait longer was not to be endured. And so we sat with far-off thoughts and toyed with the silly cards. Suddenly the long, clear sound of a boat's horn reached us from the night outdoors. We ran and peered into the darkness. At last we saw a black spot moving far out on the water. Oh, God! It was entering the cove! In what a frenzy of excitement we hurried down the beach! Nearer they come and nearer, men's voices, the little cabin light, and the vessel gliding toward us. They're abreast of us. They drop anchor. "Olson! Olson!" I shout. "Olson! Is that you?" "He's aboard," is answered. "How are you, and how's the little boy?" We see them loading a dory from the vessel's deck, and now they row it to the shore. It's good to see a fine young fisherman and shake his hand. Again and once again the loads are ferried in and carried up the long and slippery low tide beach. Rockwell has lighted Olson's lamp. He sweeps his cabin and starts the fire in the stove. At the last load I slip aboard the vessel. I am wanted. There stands Olson, swaying gigantic on the deck above us as we bump the side. A bear's greeting. Olson is radiant and mellow with the joy of homecoming and the warmth of tasted spirits. The skipper I know, yes, the good Englishman, Hogg, who had us once to dinner at his camp. Down in the cabin, in the heat and fumes of a cooking feast, we tip the friendly bottle. Ah, tell me not, abstainer, of any glories you have known. One night, one midnight, out on the black waters of a Newfoundland harbor, the million stars above, and on the wretched vessel's deck the horde of half-drunk, soul-starved men saying their passionate farewells, on the dull plain of their life a flash of lightning revealing an abyss. This night, on the still, dark cove of Resurrection Bay, rimmed with wild mountains and the wilderness, strong men about you, mad, loosened speech and winged prophetic vision. God, but sane daylight seeing seems to touch but the white, hard surface of where life is hidden. From the hot cabin I climbed the boat's ladder, up onto the world's heights. Ah, how the cold, clean wind from the wide spaces then swept my soul, and how close upon my head the dome of heaven and the stars. This is no earth ship, but the deck of a meteor vessel that I tread, the moon ship of the ancient northern gods. I row ashore for Rockwell, stow the goods higher on the beach, and we return aboard for supper. Over Rockwell the skipper makes a great fuss, says he's a famous oarsman and could beat his daddy, a fine, big, strong boy. Warm-hearted skipper! And he reaches again for the bottle, and I drink. It's vinegar! Profuse apologies, and the right one is found. We eat, we stuff. And then the three of us, Rockwell laden with presents of fruit, say good night and row ashore. Poor tired Olson has little strength to move the heavy loads from the beach. No matter, I struggle alone and finally stow them in his cabin, a great pile. Then a cup of coffee with the old man, a little furious talk about the war, fury at a world that could mess things so, and home to bed where already Rockwell slept. This morning the icy bath. Then without breakfast we began upon our mail. What a wonderful Christmas at last! The bed was piled high with presents, the table high with letters. We sorted and gloated like hungry tigers that in the ecstasy of possession merely lick their food. All through the morning and deep into the afternoon I read the mail. Unwashed dishes stood about; for meals we but ate what was at hand. Here follows in the journal a list 2 pages long, of presents, of books what a shelf of them! Woolen clothes and sheepskin slippers, music for the flute, plum pudding, candy, chocolate, cigarettes, and ever so much more. And that being about 7 times as much as we've ever had before, is all. Ah, in the wilderness you love your friends, and they, too, think of you. Better than all, though, are the letters. Such friendly letters never were before. Friday, February 14th. The days go like the wind. So warm to-day and yesterday. We live out of doors. Now, as I write, the door stands open, and the soft, moist spring air enters to dispel the fumes of turpentine. I primed 8 canvases to-day, 6 of which I had also stretched. This afternoon I painted at the northern end of the beach, almost beneath a frozen waterfall, an emerald of huge size and wonderful form. Rockwell is in high spirits. I think the augmentation of our diet brought by Olson's return will do him a lot of good. We had cut down on our use of milk to a can in 2 or 3 days. Now we may live on fish which Olson has in such quantities that we're to help ourselves. Olson has insisted on my accepting a 50-pound sack of flour for my services during his 6 weeks' absence, and I expect to find it hard to be allowed to return the cereals that I am borrowing. What a contrast this free-handed country to the mean spirit of Newfoundland! Monday, February 17th. 3 days, and what has happened? I guess that on the first of them I stretched and painted canvas. On the second, all day I painted out of doors. It was quite summer-like, and the sun shone through diamond-dripping trees. And to-day I have written from early morning before breakfast until now, 11 at night. I have decided to go to Seward in a few days. It has become necessary to go back to New York very soon. I told Rockwell of this to-day, and his eyes have scarcely been dry since. He has reasoned with me and inquired into every detail of the situation. He doesn't want to go to New York, nor even to live in the country in the East. There'll be no ocean near, nor any warm pond for bathing, and not even the thought that elsewhere he'd have playmates weighs against his love for this spot. You should see Sir Lancelot now. His clothes are outgrown and outworn. They hang in tatters about him. His trousers are burst from the knee to the hip, his overalls that cover them are rags. His shirt is buttonless but for 2 in front. From above tattered elbows his sleeves hang in ribbons. His hair is long and shaggy. Where it hung over his eyes I have cut it off short, but his fair cheeks are as pink as roses, his eyes are beautiful and blue, his lips are red, and his face glows always with expression. So we don't care a rap for the rest. Only Rockwell does. One day, after he had regarded for a long time a certain unfortunate photograph of himself in which he looked like an idiot, he said, "Father, I'd like to dress up some day and put on my best clothes and brush my hair, because I want to see if I really look like I do in this picture." Rockwell loves to look well, and it's a real treat for him to dress up. So, that being the case, and his tidy nature being so well assured, I don't trouble a bit to adorn him. He cleans his teeth regularly, and likes to do it. Mornings we get up together and go through a set of Dr. Sargent's exercises, do them with great energy. Then we go naked out of doors. The period of chattering teeth is past. No matter what the weather is, we go calmly out into it, lie down in the drift, look up into the sky, and then scrub ourselves with snow. It's the finest bath in the world. It rains to-day, or snows. The snow lies 3 feet deep on the level. At our windows it is above the sills. In Seward, have I written this before? It lies so deep that one can't see across the street. The snow is the deepest, and that last cold snap the coldest, of any winter remembered or recorded. The cold was very many degrees below zero. So we have experienced a true winter. We're so glad to know it. Tuesday, February 18th. Such mild weather! With the fire nearly out, it's hot indoors to night. A little snow, a little rain, but altogether a pleasant day. It's always pleasant when I paint well. To day I redeemed 2 straying pictures, and they're among the elect now. To night a steamer entered from the westward, the Curaçao, long expected. She must have been here 2 or 3 days ago, and since then been to Seldovia. With incredible slowness she crept over the water. What old hulks they do put onto this Alaska service! Rockwell's mothering of all things exceeded reason to day. He put 2 sticks of wood on the fire after I had intended it to go out. I removed them, blazing merrily. "Don't!" cried Rockwell seriously. "You'll hurt the fire's feelings." Rockwell cleared off the boat to day. Next we must dig her out. To morrow the engine must be put in order. We must find a hole in the gasoline tank and solder it, and then coax it into starting. It is on such jobs that whole precious days are wasted. Rockwell loves every foot of this spot of land. To night he spoke of the beauties of the lake, its steep wooded shores, clean and pebbly, and the one low, clear, and level spot where we approached the water. He had planned to live this summer the day long on the shores of the lake, naked, playing in and out of the water or paddling some craft about. I thought of putting up a tent in some mossy dell along the shore, and letting Rockwell sleep there, nights, alone, and learn early the wonders of a hermit's life. And none of it is to be. Wednesday, February 19th. It rains and storms. But to day we repaired the engine and we're ready to start for Seward when it clears. Above every other thought now is the sad realization that our days on this beloved island are nearing an end. What is it that endears it so to a man near 40 and a little boy of 9? We have such widely different outlooks upon life. It may be that Alaska stands midway between us, and that I, turning backward from the crowded world that I have known and learned to fear, meet Rockwell in his forward march from nothing to this. If that be so, we have met only for a moment for such perfect sympathy. His love will pass on from this, and mine will grow dissatisfied and wander still. But I think it's otherwise. It seems that we have both together by chance turned out of the beaten, crowded way and come to stand face to face with that infinite and unfathomable thing which is the wilderness, and here we have found ourselves, for the wilderness is nothing else. It is a kind of living mirror that gives back as its own all and only all that the imagination of a man brings to it. It is that which we believe it to be. So here we have stood, we two, and if we have not shuddered at the emptiness of the abyss and fled from its loneliness, it is because of the wealth of our own souls that filled the void with imagery, warmed it, and gave it speech and understanding. This vast wild land we have made a child's world and a man's. I know nothing in all life more beautiful than the perfect belief of Rockwell in his paradise here. Unopposed, his romance has kindled every object on the homestead, so that now for hours he can steal about in the forest, on the beach, along the lake, in absolute contentment, for it is Wonderland itself. The King's Road, the Giant's Path, where stand the gummy 10-pound butter tree, and all the giants with whom Sir Lancelot must joust, the magpie's grave marked with a cross, the otter's cave, the marvellous frozen stream, those strange wild people, the Treeps, who visit these shores occasionally to hunt the white man for his skin, as the white man has hunted their dear animals, rain bears and wild cat eaters, appalling animals that inhabit the dark woods, but are good friends to Rockwell. Every log and rotten stump, the gnarled trees with or without butter, every mound and path, the rocks, the streams, each is a being in itself. And with those most living goats and the brilliant magpies, the pretty little dingy sparrows, the glorious and virtuous porcupines, the black, black crows, the great and noble eagle, the rare spider and the rarer fly, and the wonderful, strong, sleek otters that leap in sport through the snow and coast downhill, they make a world of romance that has thrilled one little boy to the very bottom of his soul. To live here, to accumulate about him more and more animals and shelter them from harm, to live forever, or, if he must, grow old, and very old. Here marry, not a Seward girl, but one more beautiful, or an Indian. Here raise a great family, and here die. That now is the ideal of little Rockwell. And if we, his family, all of us, would count, we must come here to him, where with patriarchal magnificence and dignity he will care for us. Thursday, February 20th. All day out of doors, both of us. In the morning Rockwell and I journeyed around the point between the two coves of the island. It's a rocky promontory with a great jumble of boulders at its base that one must scramble over. These are generally wet and slippery and not much fun. However, we went well around, and I set up my canvas and painted while Rockwell crawled about in caves and crevices, playing some sort of wild beast. The wind rose as I finished and made it difficult to convey my wet canvas without damaging it. And in the afternoon again I painted on 2 pictures out of doors. That's to be my work now till the time I go. To-morrow, if the day is right, we start for Seward. Our boat is dug out of the snow, our goods are packed, the engine chafes at the throttle. I am tired to-night, and it is bedtime. Sunday, February 23rd. Friday was calm. We left the island at about 11, after the usual hour's fussing with the engine. At Hogg's Camp we called in for something to bail with, for the boat, being leaky, had taken in a lot of water. No one at home, so I stole a bowl from the shed, and we proceeded. By then the sun shone upon us, and we could observe, what we later confirmed at Seward, that the sun shines in the head of the bay, while the island, our island, is shrouded in clouds. Quite different conditions prevail in the 2 localities. With us it is warmer and much wetter. The recorded rainfall for Seward, that some time ago seemed incredibly small, does not fit Fox Island at all. Olson's records for the last summer show prevailing rainy weather, and Seward rejoiced in unprecedented sunshine. And during these last 3 days in Seward now, days wonderfully fair, thick clouds have always been over Fox Island, and even the wind blows there when Seward's waters are calm. And so on Friday we reached Seward with flying colors, stowed our boat up high, put the engine into Olson's cabin, and walked again the streets of civilization. Here every one is friendly. The first night Rockwell dined out at one house and slept at another with a lot of children. What must they have thought of his underclothes? I went supperless, writing letters instead, and then flute music at the postmaster's. Next day, very early, the steamer came, and the day passed for me in the wild excitement of receiving mail. Wednesday, February 26th. Yesterday we came home. We left Seward with only a light load aboard. It blew briskly in the bay from the north. Before we reached Caine's Head there was a splendid white-crested chop racing along with us. Midway across it was about all the engine could have stood. The propeller is not set at enough depth in our boat, and in yesterday's sea it was most of the time out of the water, racing at a furious pace. Then the boat would naturally lose steerage way and we'd swing far out of our course. But it was great sport. Into it we could have made no headway. Before it nothing could stop us. And the engine kept right on going. Only, as usual, it was continually falling apart. On Friday the fly wheel came loose 6 times, the muffler 4, and the valve springs fell off and stayed off. Coming back all went well till we were in the roughest sea, then the muffler came loose. Not wanting to stop the engine in that sea, I spent half the time on my knees holding the tiller in one hand and the muffler nut with a pair of pliers in the other. Rockwell bailed most of the time. The boat leaks like a sieve. And how fine to get home again! Only an hour and we were again seated at dinner in our warm cabin. Rockwell said it was hard for him to remember whether Mr. Olson or we had just been to Seward. I brought Olson a battery box and batteries as a present. He was much pleased, but particularly his mail pleased him. I saw him soon after our arrival seated with his spectacles on, studying his letters. He rarely gets any. This time came a postcard and a letter from Rockwell's mother. The day passed and evening came. Then appeared, entering our cove, a cabined gasoline boat. 2 young fellows came ashore and we all chatted in Olson's cabin. One had his wife aboard. They claimed to be hunting a stray boat, but Olson whispered to me later, dramatically, that they were doubtless out dragging somewhere for a cache of whiskey. Lots of whiskey has been sunk in the bay. Marks were taken at the time to determine its location, and now the owners, as need arises, fish up what they want. It's just like the buried treasure of the days of piracy. Doubtless there are now many charts extant with the position of liquid treasure marked upon them. To day has been again overcast, but beautifully mild. It is really a wonderful climate. Rockwell makes the most of these last days. He went this morning to the ridge's top east of us, and this afternoon high up on the mountain side. He now wants to stay here and become a wild man. There is no question in my mind about his entire willingness, his desire, to be left here when I go. Chapter 11